Okay, so this is everything here that was in the safety kit, and we'll go over this stuff. I highly recommend bringing a survival kit and a first aid kit, and always keep it on your person, especially if you're going by yourself. I keep it all inside of one of these first aid kits, and that double bagged in Ziploc bags, because you want all this stuff to stay dry. You know, if I was going on a canoe trip, I would keep it in like a hip pack, and always keep it on, because you know, if you go looking for wood and you happen to fall down, break your ankle or anything, you want this stuff on you. It's going to be no good if it's in your bag. If you're hiking, you know, having it in your bag is always a good thing. And then usually I'll bust out the top of my bag turns into a pouch, and then and that's where it usually stays, and I'll always have that around with me. So we've got rope here. This is about 50 feet of rope. It's good for making shelters, making a sling, helping to tie wounds, anything. There's a whole bunch of different reasons you'd want rope in a survival situation. And we've got 2 garbage bags. These can be used for making a rain jacket or a shelter, or using it to signal. And also, after my last trip, just found out you can use it to also slide down the mountain and have some fun. Next, we've got a roll of duct tape. This is about 3/4 of a roll of duct tape wound around a pencil. Cuts down the weight quite a bit. And then you've got a pencil as well for writing anything. If you found yourself that you were hurt and you were taking any pain medication or anything like that, it's good to write down the time that you take it, so you're not overusing it, because you're going to want that pain medication if you're stuck out there in the bush as long as possible. Next, we've got a knife, just a little switch knife. Got it on a little rope here that I usually attach it to a carabiner and keep it in my pocket, so you don't want to lose this. This is one of the most important things that you can have. Got a Bic lighter, an emergency blanket. I have used this before. I used it on my last trip in the mountains. It was a little bit colder than I expected. Didn't bring my winter sleeping bag, so I used this to wrap myself up in my sleeping bag. Kept me warm throughout the night. Next, we've got some hot pads. These are for the feet ones, which have a sticky side, so you can use them. You can stick them anywhere else on your body where you'd have a cold spot, or if you throw it your back, you could use it stick it on your back and put some heat on it. Also, if you were going to bed, and you could stick those in on your body as well, not just on your feet, and they would stay on you throughout the night instead of falling off while you're moving around in your sleeping bag. And we got a Clif Bar, 2 beeswax candles. Both of these will burn for 15 hours each. It's amazing how warm a candle will actually get a tent or a small shelter or cabin or something, or even a car. It's amazing how warm it will actually bring the temperature up. Then we've got my survival guide. This has everything from different native plants that you can eat, to how to make a shelter, to how to skin an animal, make traps, all that kind of stuff. Medical advice, all that kind of stuff. How to sew up wounds. Really good thing to have. It's pretty small. It's also a nice little read if you don't forget to bring a book. It's a good thing to read in the bush. Then we've got a magnesium fire starter. You just scrape off the magnesium with a knife, and then you use the flint to spark it. Lasts a very long time, because you don't need too much of this stuff. Then I've got a little waterproof container with some Redbird matches, and 2 of the I ripped off the strikers and threw them in there, as well as some steel wool that goes on top there. Steel wool is actually a great fire starter, and that will get a couple fires going, that one, in bad conditions. Then we've got compass, always a smart thing to have, along with the map. I guess I can just show that now. That's in a waterproof case. It's a good thing to bring a map if you're going anywhere in the far backcountry where you don't know the land very well, especially in the winter where you could get lost. And it also it's a nice thing to check out while you're up there and maybe plan your next trip. Now we'll move to the first aid side of things. We've got this pack here. This has got pain medication, Tylenol 3s, Advil. There's Imodium, constipation relief pills, alcohol swabs, gauze, band-aids, big pads, gloves for treating wounds, alcohol swabs, as well as a bottle of iodine. And I believe there's also 2 tampons in there, you know, just in case going camping with a girl, anyone needs that. As well as 2 condoms. No, they're not for getting lucky in the bush. You can use these as a water bag. You could also use them, strip them down and use them as bands to hold gauze in place, and then also keeping anything waterproofed that you'd need to if you cut your hand and something like that. You could wrap that and it would keep it a little bit waterproof. And I guess you could also use it for getting lucky in the bush. Next, we've got some Polysporin and some antifungal cream, as well as some hand sanitizer. We've got a little blade here for cutting open any wounds. Some tweezers, thermometer, some scissors. We've got a little signal mirror as well. This doubles as if you got cut on a place that you couldn't see, and you could set it up, and that would make your life a little bit easier. Then we've got some needles. Oh yeah, there's also some heavy duty thread in there. Needles for sewing up wounds. Got a tensor bandage as well as a syringe for the iodine to flush out any wounds. And so all of this stuff all gets packed up into one of these little cases in the Ziploc bag. So I'll do that now. Okay, so that's everything in there. Took a lot longer and it's a lot harder than it looks. And there's a lot of stuff in there. It just barely closes. Okay, so next we've got 50 feet of rope here. This is the bear rope to put any of the food bags up in the trees. I also do put the safety kit up there at night away from my tent, just because of all the cream and the Clif Bar. The bears are attracted to even those kind of antiseptic creams, so it's, you know, just to be safe, throw it up there. Then I've got this also has a carabiner. I also do put the kitchen and the pots along with the bag up in the tree. That's why I bring the carabiner, so I can clip things on there. And then the map, as I showed you before, as well as a little, got a little moleskin here with a pen. I use this usually to write up my menus, and also to have just to write notes on the trip. If you forget anything, I can just jot it down, or coming up with new meal ideas or different routes that you might think of. Also having your route potentially written down if it gets a little bit complicated. And so that's about it. This all fits into the bag, and let's just do that now.